So this is probably how I started out the last review, but I gotta say these two shows are so good, both airing on the same night. It's just like wow, wow. So yeah, Loki and Gen V doing spoiler reviews again for both these shows in this video, and we're gonna start out with Loki right here. So yeah, let's get into it. So we left off where is like the last episode left off where Miss Minutes and Renslayer are at the end of time, and this is where Miss Minutes shows her that he who remains Kang wiped out Renslayer's memories because like they were working together. And yeah, it was part of the recording where that was Loki was listening into in the first episode where Kang says, or he who remains says, I don't know what to call him. I still don't know what to call this, like that version, but he who remains like calls her a marvel. So yeah, so it was part of the recording, and yeah, everyone had their mind wiped, including Renslayer. So yeah, so that was an interesting recording. And yeah, and then Victor Timely, the Kang version of Victor Timely, ends up going to the TVA. It's cool seeing that, and cool seeing him end up meeting with OB in that. And that was also kind of interesting because I was kind of thinking in the last review, I was thinking, oh, he's just playing everybody. He's just gonna go there, and he's somehow gonna gain OB's trust because he brought up OB or Boris in the last episode. And yeah, and they have that like little thing where like Timely learned from OB, and then OB learned from Timely, and it was basically what OB said, like it's a snake eating its own tail. So yeah, that was cool. It was like a little like interesting time, like kind of playing with time right there. So yeah, it was cool. And yeah, and there's like a little moment where OB acknowledges Sylvie killing He Who Remains, kind of messed up all OB's stuff here, and he had to like that's what's going on here. That's what's causing what's going on with the TVA right here. So yeah, I like that he acknowledged that. And yeah, that's where I really thought they're like maybe it was like Timely gaining OB's trust, and Timely's up to no good. But that turns out not to be true, because later in the episode it was like him going to get the hot chocolate, and then when like that soldier that's with them like gets pruned by what's it, X5, Timely's looking very scared. So yeah, you knew there wasn't a ruse. To this like version of Kang is actually like good, or yeah, he's actually a good guy, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, I really thought that was gonna happen. Did not happen. And yeah, and then also we have there's like a little conflict that B-15 and Dox have about the TVA, because like Dox and all her soldiers are in prison in that little cell, but they basically want the same thing. They're just going about two different ways. So yeah, you have like Dox and her soldiers, of course, were trying to bomb the other timelines in that previous episode, which was episode 2. Was it episode 2, I think? Yeah, it was episode 2. So yeah, but that's interesting that we have these protagonists having conflict with like one another about how to save the TVA. So yeah, that was cool. And also with Loki and Sylvie's conversation, I like their conversation later in the episode in that like the pie eating place, and Sylvie was going all about it like that when she was talking to Owen Wilson, Mobius, about like, you want to have pie in this like right now, and you want to leave it up to them. So yeah, you can understand Sylvie's conflict, and I feel like I'll be pretty much on her side, because like, yeah, I don't know, Mobius is just a simpleton. Like, he's pretty much just a simpleton. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat some pie right now and not worry about stuff right now. So yeah, but yeah, the Loki and like Sylvie conversation I thought was good. Loki brought up Thor and about how he changed when he went, like, I guess he had like banished down to Earth from Odin, like by Odin, and they came back different. And also their conflict about the TVA and what it represents. So I thought that was cool. And also him ending it with "We are gods." I thought that was a good way to like say that, because yeah, you almost kind of forget in this show that yeah, Loki is still a god. And even like, I forgot to mention in the last episode about when they brought up they brought the statues of, it was like a Thor, Odin, and ended up being Baldur the Brave, and it, like, who was almost actually played by Daniel Craig, and in Doctor Strange and the Madness in the Multiverse. But yeah, they like that. Like, Mobius brings up, I forget you're a god. So yeah, so I thought that's pretty cool. Like he brings up we are gods, or he says we are gods, and then at the end of the conversation, and then we get to what is kind of like the most gruesome, horrifying part of this episode is Renslayer and Miss Minutes killing Docs and those TVA soldiers in the cell, except for X5 because X5 was like, I'm going with you guys. And yeah, it's cool to see more of that. The actor, I forgot his name, but yeah, he's cool. I like that. I like the actor, but yeah, that was kind of horrifying without even seeing it because you saw what it could do like early in like the season when like Loki was doing it on X5. So just to see it, you don't really see it because yeah, it is a Marvel show on Disney Plus, so you're not gonna see like blood and like bones crunching and all that. You're definitely not gonna see that, but they implied it. They definitely implied it in this, and I was kind of wondering because I think some of those soldiers might have like I was thinking they might wanted to change their minds, but they didn't really want to speak it because I can imagine one soldier is probably like, oh no, wait, don't put the cube on us. So yeah, but yeah, it's only X5 making it out of there. But yeah, that was horrifying. And yo, Miss Minutes looking like a sociopath, just smiling and like grinning at these like soldiers dying. That was wow, okay, damn. But I like that. I like Miss Minutes being just sinister. That's awesome. And even like the Jurassic Park nod they have on the screen where she's like just like Newman from Jurassic Park, or I always forget his name from Jurassic Park, but like you're always thinking Newman from Seinfeld. So yeah, but I like that little nod on the screen. And yeah, then Renslayer ends up getting timely when after like the hot cocoa incident, and yeah, of course that's when you figure out that he's pretty much a good guy. He doesn't like he's pretty much scared. And then we get Loki pruning himself because that was pretty cool that like he was pruning himself when like that was back in episode 1 when he had to prune himself, I guess. And you kind of figured it was him. I think it was kind of obvious. Like I kind of thought that. I know a lot of people probably thought that, but that was cool. And Obi on the phone, that was fitting because that was kind of like an Ouroboros type of moment right there. So Obi was the one on the phone, and they kind of casually revealed that right there. I think the whole thing was kind of like they played it out kind of casual that yeah, it was Loki that pruned himself, and it was Obi on the phone, and that's cool. They didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I'm sure it's gonna come up later in the season in the last 2 episodes. And then we get Miss Minutes when she goes offline saying to Timely, "You'll never be him." So I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe this Victor Timely is not actually going to be like a king or He Who Remains. This is part of like another plan that He Who Remains has. That yeah, this is not the actual king variant that becomes him, and that's evident at the end of the episode, which I'm about to get to. But yeah, and then we have like Sylvie and Shannon X5, and like he prunes of Renslayer, and yeah, everyone's pretty much getting like capped off in this moment. But like they are gonna return. And yeah, let's get the Timely though. So yeah, Timely when he's the one who offers to go out. He's the one who wants to be the sacrifice, I guess, and try to do that thing what Mobius did in the first episode. But yeah, soon as Timely got out there, he just got spaghettied, and that was like wow. They wasted no time with that. They didn't even make it suspenseful. They were just like, yeah, we're just gonna spaghetti him right here. So yeah, that was pretty shocking. I gotta admit that was pretty shocking because I did not think that was gonna happen. And yeah, where does this go? I gotta think he wasn't the one who was gonna be He Who Remains. That He Who Remains was gonna be a different variant of Kang, as I just said. So that's what I'm thinking. It's all part of the plan. And yeah, but I still don't know where this is gonna go, which is cool. So yeah, it was a pretty good end of this episode, and it was a very tense episode as well. I thought it was pretty tense. You didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought that was pretty cool in this episode. And yeah, and I think this is as far as everybody has seen in the season, because I know the critics and the movie pundits, they all got to see as far as episode 4, which is cool because I got like, it kind of almost like grinds my gears when people have seen more than you have. I think that's a peeve for anybody when people know what you don't know. So I'm glad we're going this last 2 episodes with, yeah, everybody not knowing what's going to go on here. But it was a good episode of Loki. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, can't wait to watch these final 2 episodes. And now let's go to Gen V episode 7, which was also a pretty tense episode. And I felt paranoia through the episode as well. It's also an episode where you just didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, and also it was a very kind of like a horrifying way to start the episode with these soups being given the virus. And you got that one soup that just looks terrifying with all like the, just like, man, facial, I don't know what that is, but anytime a virus like like that type of virus hits you, I mean, I don't know if that's realistic at all, but man, that looks terrifying. And yeah, and Shetty wanting to use this virus on soups, that's also an interesting part because yeah, it's like it's a way to show like sympathy for her, because you kind of thought she was just like at first she was just like a straight up villain, I guess, in this show, which she would just wanted to like test like the virus on soups. But yeah, you find out that her husband and daughter were killed on the Homelander plane, and that was that was interesting because it shows her that yeah, she does not trust soups at all after that like incident. So yeah, she wants to like take out Homelander, but she's also like, yeah, I don't like any soup at all. I just want to like kill all these soups. And yeah, and her offering to team up with Grace Mallory and give her like the virus shows like they can take out the soups. That's like, wow, because I love the complex idea of having an antagonist on this in this show wanting to team up with a protagonist from the other show. I love that. So yeah, but of course Grace declines, and because that's genocide. She's like Shetty is wanting to pull off a genocide on the soups in the show, so, or in the both shows. And of course Grace brings up Billy Butcher without naming him about like they're very much alike in trying to take out these soups. So yeah, but yeah, it was interesting. And she was on the phone with somebody too, so I don't know if that was Billy Butcher or if that was somebody else. I guess it could be Victoria Newman who showed up in this episode. But also with Shetty, I didn't think she was gonna get killed off in this episode. So when she got killed off, I was like, man, we're gonna like kill her off like that. As soon as we have like a sympathetic side to her, where they're like, nah, we're gonna off her. So yeah, but that's kind of surprising. And Victoria Newman, of course, showing up, as I said. Yeah, she's Marie's benefactor because they have the same powers. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, can Marie like get to a point where she can blow up heads also? So yeah, but it's cool that to learn that Newman is like a bloodbender, just like Marie, and who also grew up at Red River, just like Marie. So that's cool. And yeah, and then Marie telling her about the woods, of course, and Newman's like, yeah, like, she kind of knew about that, and she wants Marie to just forget about it, and yeah, just be in the 7 one day, just like forget about this. But Newman taking the virus for herself, like, how is she gonna use that? Because I know she probably wants to use it to maybe like target maybe like a specific soup, but she's a soup herself. If like that, if that gets loose, and like that can affect her and that could kill her. So yeah, I don't know. So that's like that's interesting what she's gonna use it for, but you can't think she's gonna like wanna like, I don't know. She's got to use it to like target probably Homelander or something like that. Like, Billy Butcher is probably gonna get his hands on that virus at some point. Like, I wonder if it would affect him, because he might have that compound V in his blood still, or he might be on the way out too, because it's kind of affecting him in a very bad way. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering if he would want to use it on like soups or to kill Homelander, of course. But he's like, he doesn't care if it affects other soups. So yeah, that may bring a conflict between him and Starlight too. But I feel like they're on good terms now, right? But it could like turn in its head too. It could go the other way. But yeah, that'll be an interesting way to play it in The Boys, because yeah, this is really connecting to The Boys in a big way. So yeah, and we're probably not too far off from season 4 coming out. I think as soon as like the actor strike is over, they're probably gonna put out a release date, and it was obvious that that doctor's head was gonna blow up. I forgot his name, but yeah, it was obvious with her saying, and no one knows about this. But it was not obvious to him because he has no idea that Newman's a soup. And can like blow up heads. And oh man, I talked about Emma and Sam in the last episode having that relationship and how it probably is not gonna have like that much of a happy ending. And yeah, we get to this episode where Sam is getting radicalized by going to like that interview, or he's partying with like what was his name, Dickless? I don't know. It was like Rufus in like the dorm, and then they end up going to that town hall interview that Newman has had with like the what's his face? I forget the dude's face. The guy that pretty much they're like riffing on Tucker Carlson type of like dude. I think his name is Cameron, whatever. And that was interesting where Newman brings up Homelander killing the Starlight Protester. I think, yeah, it was the Starlight Protester in the very end of The Boys season 3, and how they want to like charge him, but he's Homelander, so he pretty much can't charge him. So yeah, that was interesting, and it makes sense where like Sam is going in this direction because yeah, he was being tortured. Like what he went through being tortured and having people that welcomed him into like a group or whatever. It makes sense that Sam is going down this path. Like, yeah, I'm not saying I like it, but it's like, it just makes sense. It makes it interesting. It makes the show interesting. And I also like the complexity of the show molding completely different sides of the spectrum in the real world together. And I try to avoid talking politics, but it's obvious that like the boys in Gen V, they make these Homelander supporters out to be these crazy ass Trump supporters. And yeah, but they're also somewhat more sympathetic as opposed to like the real world because they have like the mantra or like the movement soup lives matter. Yeah, so it makes them more like sympathetic than real life. And yeah, it molds the two together. It molds like two like sides of the spectrum together. You kind of feel for them because the soups are starting to like look down upon in the show. So yeah, it's kind of there where you kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, yeah, they're still antagonists. Like you have that with Homelander and the boys, where yeah, he is the villain of the show, but you see where that like comes from, like where he like how he was raised. So yeah, you feel kind of like a little bit of sympathy, like with that. So yeah, and they show you here that it is like there's a little bit of sympathy with that. Yeah, and I just knew that Sam and Emma's relationship, it was going to hit a roadblock at some point, and hits a roadblock in the very next episode. And now Kate and Sam are sharing the same mindset, and they're teaming up with probably a bunch of the other soups here. So yeah, I'm interested where this is gonna go. I know we're gonna see probably some conflicts in here with Marie and Kate, Emma and Sam. So yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, with Emma and Sam, of course, as I said, it's just like very conflicting. Like, man, I'm kind of like paranoid where that's gonna go. And yeah, so it was a good episode. I also forgot to mention that was like Andre's father had that like a little, I'm guessing it was like a stroke that he had during the interview, and his like with his powers, everything just like all his metal comes crashing down. And even when in like the scene in the ambulance, like that, like the EMTs getting all cut up. So I think that was kind of interesting. But I feel like that was like, I almost forgot to mention it because it wasn't really like that big a part of the show, but I'm certain it's gonna be a big part in like the last episode where Andre's father is in like the hospital bed, and he's probably gonna tell his son, "I'm sorry for what I done," with the woods, I guess, because he knew about the woods, but I don't know. I feel like he doesn't know the full extent of what's going down under there because, yeah, he's a soup, and he would have been affected by this virus that Shetty was creating. So yeah, but yeah, it was a good episode. It was a good episode, Gen V. A very tense and a very paranoia-driven episode. I'm sure the season finale is going to be like that too. And yeah, I've been loving both these shows so far, Gen V and Loki. Yeah, you can say Loki's saving Marvel, as some people say. So yeah, give me your thoughts on The Boys and Gen V with these 2 episodes. And yeah, until next time, see y'all later. Rebel out.